Well, see, the story
directly from Pelosi.
Well, the story I heard.
No, it would have been Pelosi's
like the sergeant
security team.
Okay.
She would, Pence wouldn't have been in charge of that. Like, everyone blaming Trump for this. It's like, he's not responsible for security there. As a matter of fact, he was trying to get them to get, 10, 15,000 National Guards. But Pelosi, Schumer, Bowser, they all turned it down.
Yeah.
Everybody. So that's why there was so little police there. I mean, the Trump supporters were like, if ever the police came, everyone would be like, hey, guys, stop, let them through. Everyone would wave and salute the cops and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. But then you had these Antifa guys, like with Jason X, John Sullivan, who, he's on camera. We did it. We pulled this off.
Well, he was on camera with a CNN reporter.
Yes, and then he was later interviewed by Anderson Cooper, later that night. And then I think they arrested him and let him go twice.
Yeah.
To have to pick him back up just to get that money from CNN. I think it was 90
grand
footage of actually being shot.
Well, people were, other journalists were mad about that because they were going, how did he get paid 90 grand for doing what we do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, exclusive rights to the video. I mean, anytime you shoot video like that, if you're not already working for a news crew, meaning you're already getting paid to be there, well, then they pay people for their footage.
They're like the paparazzi.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, you sell it out to the highest bidder.
Mm-hmm. Except for the fact that he's not exactly paparazzi. He's the head of Insurrection USA and was speaking at BLM things when they were burning D.C. and attacking cops. Yeah. But anyway, so that was the first call with the FBI. The second call with the FBI, they had to do a follow-up. Now, he tried to tell me that they had to run everyone through these, 14 more questions. And he was like, yeah, I already know the answer to most of these.
What is this guy talking about? We're trying to get him.
You don't know or anything, just say no. Well, then half of them, he'd say no before me at this point. And then I talked to him the third time. The second one, he was kind of thrown off that I knew exactly who gave them my information and was like, yo, this is their names. Here's how you can find them. They're all Antifa. Because you've heard of Burning Man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Antifa and BLM, especially if you look at that Chaz Chop, whatever, every time they try to set up an autonomous zone, they always have medics, rangers. These are all Burning Man terms. That's what they've modeled all this crap on. All these theme camps or the little stations in their autonomous zones. It's just a bird. That's how stupid these people are. So the third time I talked to him, because homeboy never hit me back up because they don't actually investigate the FBI or the Antifa. Because don't forget, there was no BLM or Antifa at the Capitol, except that John Sullivan. Oh, well, no, he doesn't magically exist when we talk about it. Oh, thanks, Christopher Ray. So the third time I talked to him, I actually called in this time because somebody who I just I know a bunch of people who went up there on the internet, and one of them had some very interesting footage that's been going around lately. Finally, he got turned in by I can't remember something just a bunch of left wingers trying to tie up Trump supporters. So his footage, there was a freaking sawzall that someone was cutting down the plastic on the side of the bleachers. And the part that you've probably seen going around in a little GIF, actually, I think it was on Citizen Free Press the other day, is the people passing up fence posts to the cops.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so if you've seen that, I know who shot that. So he's facing 6 charges. Because they finally, they picked him up in, I think he was working in Alabama at the time. He was away from home.
Is he still in jail right now?
No. Somehow, he's not in jail. And the only reason I can think of is because he never actually went inside the building. Now, he was pushed up against the cops a bunch of times by people behind him. They're trying to say he was assaulting officers. But when you watch his full video, he's like, the whole time, he's like, guys, we're here for peace. We love America. We're not fighting the cops.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, when people started going for that cache of supplies to build the bleachers and fencing around it, they got on those guys super quick, wrenched it out of their hands, and formed a chain to pass them up to the cops so they couldn't be used as weapons against the cops.
Yeah. Well, see, somebody called right when this was going on, like the day after or something, and said, you know, what would you, if I was up there, I'd be out there going, hey, I wouldn't go in there if I was y'all. Y'all crazy as hell to go inside that building right now with all this bullshit going on, because it smells like a trap.
Oh, yeah, that's what I said to the FBI guy. He was like, well, who do you think would that, why did this happen, do you think, in your estimation? I was like, how conspiratorial can I get? He's like, keep it simple. I was like, okay. Remember the Reichstag building? Yeah, sounds about right. He's like, I can see that.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It sounds like this stuff was set up. Trump had offered to have more security there. They turned it down, like they didn't want it there. We don't need security. We got this under control, because they knew what they had planned for the next day. When something did happen, they could turn this and try to turn everything around on Trump. Now, this happened. Look, the headlines that morning, the headlines come out at like 9 o'clock that morning, riot at the Capitol. And this is 2-3 hours before it ever happened. How did you know that? How did you have that headline 2 or 3 hours before it happened? Like y'all got a crystal ball.
What, you mean like Tower 7 falling on 9/11?
Yes, just something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everyone was expecting some screwed up stuff to happen because, of course, Antifa can't leave well enough alone. But the ultimate point of it was not only to demonize everyone on the right, but to stop the questioning of the certification. Because everyone up there was like, yeah, man, we're just going to chill on the lawn for like 8 hours. And it's like, what? Why? We're going to be over here. We'll come back eventually. And we never came back, but it's a good wandered off so that we didn't get wrapped up in anything. So no one in my little group that I met up with, none of them have gotten picked up by the FBI. I think like maybe 2 of us have had to talk to them, but yeah, we were good because we were doing sightseeing and like having a little meme contest of signs and things.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't have.
It's always good to do like Boy Scout on church school trip activities.
Yeah.
Those will always keep you out of trouble.
It will. I wouldn't have, like I said, if I'd have been up there, I'd have been outside going, them guys are crazy. I ain't going in there. And the ones that broke shit, the ones that broke stuff, busted glass, I should lock all them up. But I believe the majority of the ones that did that were the Antifa, Black Lives Matter perpetrators that had mingled in with the patriots.
Yeah, I mean, I told that to the FBI too. It's like everything they were wearing, they likely bought on the street. Some of them had shown up in some of it, and there's videos of that going around too. But yeah. Also, the field office FBI versus DC FBI is freaking night and day. The DC people legitimately don't care. Field office guy, at least seem concerned.
Yeah.
But
now, I have talked to the FBI a couple of times. I talked to him, the last time I talked to him was when my brother was in prison in Mississippi. I called him about some things that were going on in the jails down there and the health care he wasn't receiving when he was in there after the police had beat his ass and broke his teeth and they wouldn't take him to the dentist. I called him about that because I had called the prison and talked to the warden and stuff. I finally got in touch with the warden. But I called the FBI about that. So they probably got a big thick file on me too. Jamie Chapman's a troublemaker. But I damn sure wouldn't have been up there. Now I don't. If the cops open the door up and let people in, I don't see how they can charge anybody with anything. Other than the ones that broke stuff and went in places that they weren't supposed to go.
Yeah, pretty much. Or like the guy who was like inside Pelosi's office and they quote unquote still haven't found her laptop, even though that thing very likely has a tracker on it.
Yeah, it probably does got a tracker on it.
Let's be honest. They know exactly where it is. They probably have it.
Well, it look, we've seen videos of them like staging videos inside, like the guy walking with the big rebel flag.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
if I get on the ground because that's how you treat a flag all of a sudden.
Yeah, if I was around somebody like that at one of these patriotic things, I'd go, hey man, why you got that flag out here?
Pretty much.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Put that away.
Yeah, go put that in your car. You're just trying to cause problems. And, we really don't want to see that crap. I agree with your right to fly it. I agree with your right to fly it. But you're just bringing heat on us. So could you go put it in your car? Or we're going to let you stand over there by yourself.
Reasonable.
Yeah, we're going to let you stand over there by yourself and you can feel ostracized by us. Because I don't want to have anything to do with it. I do agree with your right to fly it. But it just looks staged, man. A lot of this shit looks staged up there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was so confusing. Like the one person who was like, yeah, I was up there on the steps. So it's like, I mean, was it pretty? But why did you do that? They're like, well, the cops let us in. Hey, what? Oh, okay.
But that's what I'm saying. It looks like they let them in for the photo op to take the picture of everybody up there.
Oh, not only that, yeah, especially with Mr. Bison Hat guy, but no.
Yeah.
Take that logic, now apply it to Ashley Babbitt, because all the Trump supporters weren't getting violent. And even the small amount of Antifa, Trump supporters are trying to stop them. So then you had, like, and my favorite is still Insurrection Grandma, like the little peace sign with her flag, and she's just so happy to be in the Capitol. Yeah, I think she had to plead guilty to something because she's a danger and she's been in solitary confinement for months on end because Grandma she don't cut a bitch, I guess. But yeah, so take everything we've been talking about. Now realize that you're not getting the optics you want or need to stop the challenges to the certification, so you need to make something happen. So then you have John Sullivan and his little crew telling the cops to just go away, and they did, which was very strange. And then you can see them helping Ashley up through that window, just needing to lamb to the slaughter.
Yeah. Here, climb through the door.
They needed someone to die. They needed some blood to be shed. Now, granted, there's already 4 people killed by the cops. Like, one of them got pushed off, they think he, scaled a wall, and the cops, yeeted him back off of it. Yeah, he didn't make it. There's so much footage of the cops attacking people, but not so much any Trump supporters attacking the cops. So they needed something. So that's why, like I said, lamb to the slaughter.
So there was a headline today about that guy with the bison hat, QAnon shaman, or whatever his name is.
Right.
He's still locked up. They wouldn't give him a bond, and he's
been acting like a moron too. Was it Chance or Jamie? Chance down that.
But you're trying to draw too much attention to yourself. So I don't believe what you're saying.
Oh, wait a minute. Now take that. And you saw that kerfuffle with Flynn, right? And all of a sudden, Austin Steinmark gets on stage and is trying to take credit for doing all sorts of things for the movie or whatever. Okay. And then all of a sudden, Rachel Maddow knows about Baby Q, star power Austin Steinmark, who was talking about on the show. Because apparently nothing happened in the movie. The only thing that happened was Austin was there to discredit everything. So at this point, I just don't trust pretty much anything outside of the audit that comes from Arizona.
Jacob,
the hotbed.
Jacob Chansley is his name.
There we go. Yeah, and gosh golly, there's video of him with Austin Steinmark. Dressed as the Q-Tard shaman.
Yeah, well, he was at a lot of the Black Lives Matter things too, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. It's just so odd. It's not just BLM, but also Antifa, and he wasn't fighting them. He was rolling with them. So
yeah.
It's all just plants. plants and actors trying to discredit things like, Flynn and Byrne talking about election stuff, or I'm sure there's going to be someone trying to take down Mike Lindell. It's just so painfully obvious. Oh, and then with the quote-unquote security breach of the audit in Arizona, stuff like that, and all the black hat Republicans, the rhinos.
Well,
they're all in it together. If the Dems go down, their GOP goes down too.
well, that's what Trump said the other night at that rally. He was talking about the Democrats stick together. He said, what's worse is these fake ass Republicans that are just as bad as the Democrats. They're worse because they're acting like they're conservative and they're really not. They're really part of this deep state cabal that are trying to sell this country out and turn it into a third world country. And that's all they want.
DC statehood.
Yeah, we got to have DC statehood. Because what? Why? Because that gives them, what, 2 more senators?
2 more senators.
Yeah. So see how it was part of their plan?
Same with Puerto Rico, and same with trying to get rid of the filibuster. They're so desperate to get rid of the filibuster. They're like, come on, just let us do a fuckery. Let us do it.
Yeah, let us steal more from them. We know what the problem is y'all asshats that have been in Washington for 40 years. You're the problem in this country. It's not the people, it's y'all.
Oh, absolutely, but they don't want to admit that.
No, they don't want to admit it because they're not being held to account.
Exactly.
But you know why they're not being held to account? You know why they're not being held to account?
Why is that?
Because they've been cheating during the elections.
Okay.
They've been cheating the whole damn time. That's why I was thinking when Sidney Powell said that, we don't know who's supposed to be up there. Exactly. We don't know who is supposed to be, because this shit's been going, this didn't just happen in 16, in 20. This has been going on.
Oh, yeah.